In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create an interaction term in R as part of a regression model, and also compare that with a model that doesn't have it in it to decide whether or not a specific term is important to the model. I'm going to be using the Rio package for importing the data and the sjPlot package in order to create a nice table at the end. I'm not going to be showing the whole process of cleaning the data and getting it ready. I described that in some other videos. I'm going to be using piece of data like in previous videos, so go ahead and get R opened up and ready to go. So here I have RStudio open, and I've already imported the data. You can see the names of the variables in the data set right here. Most of these are still using the coded names that are from PISA. And the first thing that we need to do is simply to create our two models, one that includes an interaction and one that does not. So we'll start with what I'll call model 1. And we'll create this regression model here. And let's say that for instance, we're interested in whether or not confidence, which is this variable here, is interacting with students' gender. So do males and females differ in their confidence? And is that related to their mathematics achievement, which is this PV1 math variable? And I've included some other things in the model that are expected to be covariates that are important. So students' socioeconomic status, whether or not they enjoy math, whether their home language differed from that of the assessment, and whether they had an opportunity to learn applied math. They were given applied math task as an example and asked, how frequently did you experience this type of task in your classroom? So if we first create this model, and I'm going to store it into model 1, and then to create the actual interaction term, we simply need to add this term at the end that is female times the variable for confidence, ST37Q05, which you can see up here, and I've put a note next to it to remind myself that this is a confidence variable. And so we can go ahead and run that model like this. And something that I want to show you is what it looks like when you examine the summary of this model, model 2, what the interaction term looks like, because it may not be what you expect when you look at the coefficients. So you'll see here that it names the coefficient ST37Q05 colon female, and it put female second because female is a dichotomous variable, so it puts it second. And it's this colon that R is using in order to indicate that there is an interaction term. In order to compare the two, we can run this code ANOVA and then model 1, model 2, and it's just going to show us whether there's a statistically significant difference in the two models, which it looks like it's telling us that it is a statistically significant improvement, model 2 over model 1. And I think to get a better view of this, so we could just run the summary of model 1 and the summary of model 2 and look across them, but this is a really nice way to look across them at the same time. This function called tab_model from the sjPlot package. And you don't need this here. I just put this here so that you could see it was from the sjPlot package, but it should run it just fine by just typing tab_model and then just model 1 comma model 2. And if we run this, and it's taking a minute to load, you can see that there is the first model here that does not. So here's the interaction term. So this first set of information is for the first model that doesn't include the interaction effect. interaction term. And then here we have it with the interaction term included. And then at the bottom, we get the r squared values. So you can see the r squared improved from about being able to explain 32.1% to being able to explain 32.2%. So basically the interaction term allows us to explain 0.1% additional variance in the model, which does not sound statistically significant, despite the fact that this is telling us it is. So we have to decide whether that's practical. And we see this coefficient here of a 6.25, which is telling us, and it is showing that it's statistically significant. And although this is very small in comparison to the scores on PISA, which have a standard deviation in this data set, this subset of the data set, of around 94 points. So this is not very much different, but it is telling us that there is a difference in males and females' confidence, and that is related to differences in how students score on this assessment. So that is how you do a interaction term in R, and hopefully this has been helpful for you. See you next time.